لا ندعو عليهم. We don't imprecate against them. We don't make any imprecation. وإن جاروا علينا, even if they're oppressive, Imam Tahawi says. Basically, the nasiha to the kings is the responsibility of the ulama, and they're supposed to do it in private. For the common people are supposed to basically not speak ill of their rulers, to make dua for them, to ask for their tawfiq, and to give to give them what is due to them, and if they don't give you what's due to you, then that's on them. But if they don't give you your right, that does not give you the right to forfeit their right. Now that's quite different from, the modern, the post-Enlightenment period, is a revolutionary period. So you have revolutionary political ideas have pretty much permeated the world now. And revolutionary ideas differ. Like American Revolution is far more conservative than the French Revolution or the Russian Revolution. But revolutionary idea is that you don't wait for freedom. Cromwell said, disobedience to tyrants is obedience to God. That's a very Protestant idea. So, but that's not really, I think, which is partly why the Muslim world is the way it is, as opposed to the West. Because the West were able to throw off their rulers. But if you look historically, far more blood has been shed in the West in doing that. Do you see? The Muslims did not shed the type of blood. We forget how bloody these wars were to gain these type of political rights. Now, there's no doubt the basis is liberty, is hurriya, that people should be free. They should be free. But even, Islam has limitations of freedom. And that's where we differ with Western definitions are not, like we believe in censorship to a certain degree, that certain things need to be censored. Now, Karl Popper, who wrote a book, The Open Society and Its Enemies, and Karl Popper is considered the doyen of those who have defended democratic liberal democracies. If you read Karl Popper's last interviews, he was calling for censorship because he said he never thought it would get to this degree of decadence. So even somebody like Karl Popper, who was completely committed to the liberal democratic ideal, recognized there's some real problems here. And he felt television was going to be just the downfall of man. He really believed that. And I think there's a strong case for that. The pornography is, they had an interesting, in today's newspaper, an interesting little Arabic cartoon which showed this guy in bed with his computer, and he's looking over at his wife, and his eyes are bulging out with red veins. And, my wife said, what's that mean? She's like, I said, well, I think it means what it means. He's looking at something he shouldn't be looking at. But that's a real problem now. Somebody brought to me the statistics from the Google. The highest downloads of pornography now are in Muslim countries, based on the computer, for people that are using computers. In Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, very high. Here, they have, it's all restricted. If people are very clever, I think, supposedly you can get around these things. But here, you just come to a dead end or something like that. That's what I've been told. So that's a major problem. When we did a program, I read a book by Pamela Paul called Pornified. And I had no idea the extent of this problem. I had no idea. And so we invited her up to the RIS, and we gave a talk about pornography and about this problem. And it really was depressing for me because so many women with hijab came up to me afterwards thanking me for doing that, and nobody wants to talk about this. And then they started telling me how their husband's addicted to pornography and what do they do. And You know, so it's a really, I mean, this is a very tough time for humans, because you know, and one of the interesting things, I mean, just for the men here, because, you know, I mean, there's just statistics as a, one of the really interesting things that I saw in that book is that people that got addicted to pornography, it got worse and worse. And they ended up even like in pedophilia and things, like normal people that started out, there was no, but 10 years on average of pornography, they said, leads to just impotence. You know, that the men just lose, they can't, you know, so it's a very sick, vile thing. And it, not to mention all the degradation towards the women, because most of the women involved in all that are abused women, and it's very horrible, sordid, and mafia. There's a lot of criminality and just terrible things. So it's all contributing to the kind of lowest aspects of the human condition. But you know, we have real problems that people just don't want to deal with in the community. The human community, but in the Muslim community, we're part of the human community. Statistics shows that we have a lot of the same statistical levels of social problems, that it's not like we're any better. We're doing better, we're faring better than the non-Muslims. I mean, even the divorce rates now are starting to become similar to the Western divorce rates in certain regions, not everywhere, but certain places. Divorce rates here are incredibly high. I mean, there's a lot of women just don't want to get married anymore. And then they have all these different types of marriage. They have misyar, and now they have zawaj al-wanasa, which is like, it's a kind of friendship marriage. And then they have zawaj al-mahjaj, you know, where you can, I mean, there's just like all these different marriages. Mahjaj, that's like if you don't have a mahram to go on hajj, so you just get married with somebody and then they take you on hajj. Yeah. Don't get any ideas, right? Yeah. Anyway, all right.